here we have the eero Pro 6 tri-band mesh Wi-Fi system. I currently have Google Wi-Fi 3-puck system, not the Nest Wi-Fi, but the older Google Wi-Fi, and I really like the app. But the actual Wi-Fi hardware I don't think works super great. 1 and 2, upgrade my internet speed to 900 something down, and still only 38 up because I have Spectrum. They kind of suck. But Google Wi-Fi can't handle that kind of speeds. It kind of caps out around 400 because this is an AX, whatever it is, AX 2400 or something. I'll have the specs on the screen or something. So in the box, we're gonna have 3 of these, 2 power cord, and we'll need the app to set it up. So if you never had a mesh system, the purpose is they kind of overlap each other, and you should have a strong signal all throughout. Like, you don't have to have one as the hub and one as, you know, AP, and they have to hand off and whatnot. So this got announced around the time that I was starting to look, and it came with a free Fire TV Cube, which I could always use. I have the Google TV currently that I like a lot, but I do like the Amazon Fire product, so this is something I could definitely use. So I thought the added benefit of that, and that's coming from Amazon. I like Amazon product, and I was hoping that, and the eero in general usually got pretty good reviews for the previous versions. I would think the Pro one's just going to work better, and I feel like the app would probably be on par with Google. So I really like the Google app, and I was hoping that this will maintain that same level of functionality. So you can see this is a tri-band mesh system, so the benefit of that, normally you have, you know, just 2 bands, and then they interfere with each other when they try to communicate. This one has a 3rd band that's built for backhaul, so that means the 3 of these will talk to each other over that other band, and then the regular 2 bands will be used for the actual device's communication. That's a simplistic explanation, but that's more or less it. Alright, so we're going to do an unboxing. I'll compare these physically in size to the Google Wi-Fi, and I'll compare the Google Wi-Fi app to the eero, and I'll do a speed test of all my devices. So in and out of the box, that looks pretty cool. Some decent weight to these things. So this neat little like shell game we're playing here. On the back, there's 2 Ethernet ports and a USB-C power supply. They're not terribly big. I mean, so here's a mouse in comparison. All 3 of them have the same setup. I don't think it matters which one is the main guy and which one's the hub. So you have to use the app, disconnect your modem, begin with the modem unplugged, and discover other stuff. This one has nothing on the back. This one also has, oh no, this one has like a little booklet. This one's also a little booklet. Alright, so this is the difference. The Google Wi-Fi app is entirely free. This one has a free level and a more advanced level. It was with Secure Plus. Now the difference is, this one does come with stuff when you pay for their version, like Malwarebytes, which I already use, and I think it's an excellent product. 1Password I could use. I use a different one already, Keeper Security, but 1Password is a good product as well. I'm not familiar with EncryptMe. I use NordVPN, but I would have no problem switching that potentially. I'll have to research it and see. And that's all there really is in the box, just the power cords. They're USB-C. They're a little box here, and they do not unplug. So, you know, should be 1 per each. And that's pretty good. Alright, so let me do a little speed test action on my individual devices. I guess we'll start out right here. Literally right in front of me is my desktop PC. So this is my desktop PC. It is plugged in via Ethernet. I'll show the setup in a minute, but here's to clarify. Here's my Ethernet speed plugged directly into the device. So not quite 900, but pretty gosh darn close, if you ask me. So, you know, there's nothing wrong. No one's going to complain about getting those kind of speeds. Stellar performance when it's over Ethernet. If I switch it to Wi-Fi, it'll be a shit signal. Alright, so 896 and 40. So my router's right there. Actually, here, I'll show you. So here's my Google Wi-Fi. I have it plugged into this Netgear router. Apocalypse stands guard. The modem is down below. This is just a little bookshelf next to my computer. So this shelf here, as I'm saying, this is the Google, this is the Netgear router, or switch. My modem is down below in a messy pile of shit. So this is my Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra 5G. It is on Wi-Fi currently. As you can see here, it says Spectrum, so let's run a test. I'm holding a tripod in my hand, so it's going to be a little wobbly, but hopefully it will correct itself. So right next to it, we're getting pretty good speeds. That is about the max the Google Wi-Fi can offer, so that's actually pretty good. Of course, the Wi-Fi, the Note 20 has Wi-Fi 6 antennas. This is not a Wi-Fi 6 device, but either way, it still helps it have better reception. And of course, it's literally touching it. Let's go back here. Again, this is not very scientific. I literally have my hand, this hand over here is still on touching the router. So 4 feet away, we're getting pretty good speeds. no qualms there. Now let's go to the Google. So this is one thing that really confuses me. You go to the Google Wi-Fi app itself. You can see I have 26 devices online, which is a lot. If we test your internet, this should just be testing the Wi-Fi puck that is attached to the modem. So I don't really know why this can't score higher than 400, even though the Google Wi-Fi can only pump out 400. Well, so it seems silly the device itself can't get higher. This computer is through Ethernet, it's getting 800. This is testing the app itself. This is not Wi-Fi. This is testing it, the app, the device itself plugged directly into my modem. It should also get 800, but for some reason it doesn't. And it never does. Like, this is actually higher than it normally tests, which makes no sense. Alright, so here I am. Ignore, this is not the proper setup, obviously. We're remodeling, blah, blah, blah. This is, either way, here's the Google Puck. This is a satellite. It is plugged into a Roku, so I'm going to test the Wi-Fi here. I don't know if this is dropped from the previous one, or if it's still on this one, or whatnot. You can see substantially lower speeds all the way up here. Now this Roku is plugged in. Still getting good upload speeds, just not good Wi-Fi speeds, download speeds. This Roku is plugged in through Ethernet to the puck. Again, I'm just filming the TV on the wall here. You can see it previously tested, as of today, 64 megabits per second. So we'll test it again and see. It shows wired. Actually made a video on this Roku too. Still around 63 megabits per second. So I don't know if that will improve or not with the eero. The eero, of course, has an Ethernet as well, and we'll try that out. Alright, we interrupt this eero video to show you the world's most perfect dog, Sadie. Say hi, Sadie. It's a great day, and I also have videos of her on my tour of videos that I've made. Alright, so here is the third and final eero puck. Not eero puck, Google Wi-Fi puck. So let's test the speed next to it. This is my little Nest sensor. I made a video on Nest as well. Sadie wants to see what's going on here. She's very interested. If you've never had a Great Dane, it is incredible. She does slobber. It's not ideal. Outside of that, it's fantastic. So you can see I'm getting pretty atrocious speeds here. 65.9 down and 36.9 up. So up still good, down terrible. Right next to this Google Wi-Fi, this is my entertainment center here with my Google TV on it, which I also had a video on recently. I'll keep the switch normally here. I took it out to make videos on. Xbox controllers and a little clock guy. And this is a sound bar that I'm going to have a video on soon. So again, I'm just filming the TV from the phone, so it's not going to look super great, but just for reference point. Alright, so here is a speed test. So it looks like Ookla. I don't know that it actually is, but it does say Ookla's privacy policy, so it's not called Ookla, but we'll test the TV. So decent ping. Again, not great speeds over Wi-Fi. 42, 43. Okay. 46. But again, I'm paying for 900 down. Upload again, still fairly strong, so it's not bad. And again, the Google Wi-Fi is right there next to Sadie. So I'm right next to it. And we're not getting super perfect speeds, obviously. Again, here is my Xbox, and we'll test network speed. Again, I'm just filming the screen with my phone, so it's not going to look great. And this is only over Wi-Fi. It's not plugged in through Ethernet. But again, it's 4 feet from the Google Wi-Fi. With the eero, I am going to run Ethernet. I mean, in theory, I could have done with this one too, but I just didn't. All right, so you can see download, we're getting 116. Upload 4, 1% packet loss. Wireless strength is 100% and 55 milliseconds latency. This is the Xbox One S. Also have a video on that. The Fortnite version. Yeah, I got that for Fortnite. Now I'll play Rogue Company the most. Now I'm going to swap out to the eeros, and I will test it again in Wi-Fi, and then I will run an Ethernet cord properly, which I should have done with the Google Wi-Fi, but I didn't. In case you're wondering, Sadie has remained here, just chillaxing. In the interest of fairness, here is Simon. Simon is nowhere near as good as Sadie. That's right, you bark a lot. Sadie does not, but he's a good dog, I guess. This is a very subdued version. I also have videos of Simon as a puppy, Simon as a Havishon. But if you had to choose one, Sophie's choice, Sadie all day. Chilling. Alright, so one last video on the Google Wi-Fi speeds. This is still my Note, still on Wi-Fi. We're now in my kitchen. I don't know, maybe 15, 20 feet away from the previous environment. My house isn't that big, so we're not like we're in another wing or something. So we're fairly close. It should be in between the basement main puck router and the one we just saw with the TV. So again, decent speeds, but nowhere near the 400 that this will top out at the Google Wi-Fi will top out, and of course nowhere near the 900 that I'm actually paying for. All right, so now let's switch to the eero. So there was this Ethernet cord in here, tucked in the box. So quick start guide says go to eero.com/app. I'm just going to go to the Play Store. It also says to unplug your modem. I unplugged the internet. So here I'm going to install eero. So now I'm recording the screen. Alright, so let's open the app. Link at your whole home and fast Wi-Fi. Manage your network on blah blah. This is what peace of mind feels like. It says you should have it up and running in less than 10 minutes, which is good because everyone in my house is going to get mad that I'm not online. I'm going to edit this part out, of course. Checking on the terms and conditions. It's in the verification code. So you can see it says any device with 2 Ethernet ports. All these have 2 Ethernet ports, so it's fine. First, unplug your old modem and old router from power. So I've already done that. Unplug any other equipment, that's fine. So I'm not going to use the one that came in the box. I'm going to use the one that I had run already. So I'm just plugging in the Ethernet port, just plugging in this Ethernet here. This is the power cord, this is the Ethernet cord. It says the eero should start flashing white. I did not unplug the power on my modem, so. Alright, so now we're plugged in, we're looking for the Wi-Fi. So now the light is turned blue, so I did find an eero Pro 6. It is in the basement, so I'm going to name it the same as my old one. So there's the blue light they're referencing. Alright, so now I need to plug the other one in. So let me stop all this to do that. In case you're wondering, Sadie still sleeping. Alright, so here the eero is set up again. This is the living room one. Obviously previously next to Sadie and next to my entertainment center. We'll test the Wi-Fi here. And I believe that's significantly better than I had previously. Again, I don't remember. I'll try to put the score up here somewhere. So let's test the TV again. This one didn't I tested this before the video started and I didn't get any better score, but we'll see if it changed now. Yeah, so this is the Google TV. I think that's on par with what it was before. I don't quite remember. Yeah, so I think it's kind of what we had before, or at least, that's more than enough for Netflix, so that should be fine. So back on the Xbox, this one I think last time was like 116 or something. So yeah, actually it's a little worse, right? 90. But again, this is a non-scientific test. There's more people in the house using devices now than there were previously, so that would impact it some. But it still should be higher than that, I would believe. Of course, I don't know how conducive my entertainment center is to Wi-Fi. It wasn't this is a newer entertainment center. I didn't have this little fake fireplace thing in here. I don't know if that impacts the Wi-Fi signal. It probably does. See, it's a little digital fireplace, and I guess like a space heater guy right here. We're big fans of this. It's pretty fresh. And I got a worse score that time. Let me get an Ethernet cable and I'm going to test it that way. Obviously, I'm not going to leave it like this, but I just draped the cord here to test it real quick. You can see it switched to wired. So let's test the network speed wired. So again, this is not the main hub. This is not the one tied to the modem. This is just a satellite that is now using the wireless backhaul to connect to the main hub and then the Ethernet cord to connect to my Xbox. All right, so that is substantially better, 284. Still not as fast as I thought it would be. Let's try one more test. So even though I'm not getting the speeds I thought I was going to get, I still feel like this is faster speeds than I would get from the Google Wi-Fi because the Google Wi-Fi was maxing out at 400, testing down to 116. So I would assume that backhaul satellite was not going to get, that satellite hub is not going to get the same speeds as this one is. Also, in case you're wondering, Sadie's still sleeping. All right, so now this is much better. 220. I mean, the score, the download's the same, but the upload's up to 229. So that's pretty good. That's going to be what I'm going to do. I'm going to have the Ethernet, the Xbox, and maybe the TV. We'll see. Because there are 2 ports there. I did ask eero online. And you can use both those ports from the satellite for 2 Ethernet devices. All right, so here we are. It is now, the couple days later. I've had eero for a few days. I'm pretty happy with it. Let's just do a deeper dive into the app. There's not a lot to show on the devices itself. My speed tester, fairly similar. All right, so here's the main page. My Wi-Fi is Lure Palace. I call my wife Lure. I call this house her palace because I'm hilarious. So up top here, you can see it's online, hence it being, I assume it wouldn't be green if it wasn't online, which is a cool addition. And you have 4 things here. So I have 3 hubs. I named those individually. And the internet is just the actual internet itself. Basement, and then living room, and then bedroom. So if you look at internet, I like this. It tells you what your speeds are. So Google Wi-Fi has that same functionality, but you have to kind of check it. Let me see if it'll let me even see Google Wi-Fi. Actually, while we're here, let's just do ourselves a little Wi-Fi test. I'm on the Wi-Fi. I'm in the basement where the main hub is. Obviously, I'm wireless though, because it's on my cell phone. Yeah, so we're getting, solid speeds there. Last night, one time I tested, I got a really low speed, but I don't know, something weird may have been happening. But it was like a 3 right there, 3.85. So that was very odd. All right, Google Wi-Fi is unplugged, so I don't know they'll let me check it. Okay, so I have a Google Wi-Fi put up at my mom's house. Her name is Lisa. I call it Elisa's Empire. See what I did there? She has the newer Nest Wi-Fi, and one of them just died, which is kind of a pain in the ass. So here you can see her speed test. You can check usage, Wi-Fi points. One of them's offline, so you really can only see this one. So you can change the light brightness. You can change the name, of course. You could restart it. You can see the details. I'm gonna have to blur all that out, I guess, but it's just the IP address and whatnot. And then you can see she's a senior citizen, so she has 5 devices online. For some reason, doesn't see any of them right now. So she has a Chromecast, a Roku Ultra, her Google Pixel 3a, which used to be mine, a printer, and then a Lenovo Smart Display. She fucking loves that Smart Display too. So here, same, I know I'm showing Google Wi-Fi, but I'm gonna show the eero comparison. All right, so let's try to go back. So this would be the equivalent of clicking on internet here and seeing your speeds, right? So both of them have a similar thing. I think it's easier to read on here. I guess you don't see the history, which is not as good. You can run a speed test directly from it, which I do like. You can see this little pop-up, a new device has joined Lord Palace. So that's cool. That's when I added my wife's Apple Watch, which I'll have a separate video on, but I do like that. I don't recall Google having that functionality. So there are, of course, pros and cons to both devices, or both apps. Essentially, device-wise, the eero is much larger than the Google, but of course it is a newer version and it has stronger antennas and you can get faster speed. But of course it's also more expensive. All right, so you can see I'm getting really good speeds now. This is pretty much the max of what I'm paying for, so that's good. So I do like on the eero, which is what we're here, you can test the internet directly from this section. Here on Google, you can't test it here. You can see the history, like Google, we went to internet. The app's kind of buggy too. That's at my mom's house. So here you can't test it. You'd have to go to the settings and then go to network check and then test internet. And even then, it is a cool little animation, but you don't really know what's happening. I guess you don't really in the eero either, but yeah, see. So things like this is a prime example. The Google Wi-Fi app is a little buggy. Sometimes it just won't test speeds. Sometimes it will. See, it's closing, right? Even though right here, so now it's telling me she doesn't have I know she's online. All right, we'll come back to that one. I don't know. I do like the font on there. I know it's a stupid thing to think about, but I do like it. All right, so now we get to the actual hub. The basement one, you can see the wired icon because that one has the wired Ethernet input. So you can see the wired gateway, the location. You can change that, of course, to whatever name you want. You can see how many devices are connected to it. You can turn the LED light on or off. So in the bedroom one, I turned that one off because it's obviously a bright light I don't want in my bedroom. IP address, and then if you go to it, you can see the software version, and you can see if it says up to date, which I like. I think they took that away from Google. I think Google just updates randomly. Advanced, can't really change any of this stuff. You can just see it. You could restart the individual device, which is nice, as opposed to restarting everything. Oh, there's another thing. So I'm at my house. If you can see in the very top of the screen, there's a little Wi-Fi 6 icon. That's pretty neat, huh? This is a Wi-Fi 6 device, and I don't know if that's a Samsung thing or a standard implementation, but it's kind of neat that it shows up. So I do like on this screen on Google, you can see how many devices are online right off the bat. So here's the weirdness, right? So on Google, you can see how many devices are total, and then you get to click on the individual point. It doesn't really tell you anything. You click on here, and you click on the actual device and the details, and then it tells you which device it's connected to. Where on eero, it lists all these devices here, but there's not like a total number. You would have to click on basement and see there's 6 here. Click on living room, there's 7 here, and bedroom has 8. So then you gotta do math and figure out how many you got. So I do kind of wish there was a total number posted on the main screen somewhere, but regardless. So let's look at the basement one. So you can see how many devices are connected. So you can see the various devices that are connected here, and then if you want to click on and get more details, you could click on, see these icons. That's one thing that's pretty neat. Let's go to let's look at my notes. So you can see what version it's connected to, what eero it's connected to, the security level, and you can change the type. So if you click on here, you can change the type to something different, and it will change the icon associated, of course. And I assume at some point maybe it will use what type you listed to help manipulate the Wi-Fi. I don't know though. I kind of made that up. But if you see, it changes the icon here, here, and here, whatnot. And these I haven't changed yet. So LGV60 is my other phone, and I can change that to a phone. So now I can see it's up here in computers and personal, right? Oh, here, Apple Watch. This is our new watch. So we'll change the type. There should be a smartwatch in here somewhere. Watch. You can see it's on WPA3. And so let's see this profile section. Let's go back to the PS4. So the PS4, I added the profile to my son's. I'll select it to know it's nonsense. Here's my profile, so here's no nonsense. And in theory, if I wanted to pause it, I could just add a schedule pause. I mean, there should be a way to pause the whole group. I'm not positive yet. On Google, you can definitely pause a whole group at a time. So, but his, like, I can set a bedtime for him. Say I want to set up from 10 p.m. and it comes back on at 7 a.m. And we'll do that on the weekdays. But it doesn't appear to be a way to pause it. Oh yeah, there it is right there. You can pause. Okay, my recording was on top of it. So now I can just hit pause right now and just immediately pause all of his Wi-Fi. So this is a good thing. My kids are getting older now, so I don't really need this as much. But when they're younger, if someone gets grounded or they're misbehaving, you can just immediately pause the internet. And that's gonna, certainly with the younger kids now, they're gonna be way more concerned about not having internet access versus other stuff, right? So there's the problem, like, all these random devices, they got to kind of figure out what the hell this is. And luckily this one says Motorola, so I can figure that out. But sometimes they're weird, sometimes they're weird and like they don't show stuff like Chicani Electronics. I don't know what the hell that is. I'll have to look up the MAC address and see if I can figure out what it is, and then eventually maybe just start pausing it and figure out until someone complains the way it is. Now, once you change the nickname, like, you can click in here and just change the name to, Taco if I want. So now this one's called Taco. It says Hewlett Packard, so it's probably a printer. I would assume as much, right? But, I can rename it and change it once I turn it back on and test. Now, once you do that, it will remember it. Like, I changed Google TV to say Google TV. That's my Chromecast. It didn't say that on its own. Some of them will automatically say the names, like Xbox One. I didn't change that. It did it by itself. PS4, it said PS4 and some other gibberish, and I took the gibberish off. So you can set up multiple profiles. So that's pretty good. So it's activity. I do like this. This tells you your speed, your fastest download of the week, your fastest upload of the week, and your data usage. That's weird. The security was showing previously. All right, so there we go. So now you can see the scans. I don't know what it's doing. It's not really telling me anything here. I mean, there's no details as to what that actually is doing. But it looks good, right? Threat blocks, again, I don't know what this is actually doing. I don't know what this top victory, I need to figure out what the fuck that is, because that seems like a weird name for some shit here. So, again, I don't know what this is doing. I mean, it's showing me that it found 58 threats in phishing and deception, but, like, what are they? What happened? It doesn't tell me anything, so I don't know why it's going to want me to pay for this shit, but it's not really telling me. Let me manage and see if it shows anything. Now, that just goes to the device management page. So, in theory, it's good to have security things in place, but it doesn't really tell you anything, right? And that's about all you can see in this tab. There's nothing like this, I don't think, on the Google Wi-Fi app. I don't see any. There's nothing like that I would think that would, look at it in that scenario. Discover. So this is your eero secure. And you can add these if you do the plus version, like I said, so the ad blocking, I don't really know how well that's going to work. I might try that. Content filters, like, if I don't want the boy looking at adult images or illegal or criminal things or violent things, right, I can block those for him. But it also, at least with Google, I know with Google had that, and I turned on safe search, and then he couldn't go on Twitch. And, he used to watch Twitch constantly for Fortnite stuff. I haven't tried these out yet. I mean, malware bytes I use on my personal computer anyhow, so I do like that. I did click on advanced security. I don't know what it does. There's no explanation. Ad blocking, I assume it will work, but I don't know if it will slow down my internet or what. So I'm going to look on Reddit. There's a very robust subreddit for eero, which I've been poking around on, so that's pretty good. Learn more. You can just see what this stuff is. It's just trying to sell you more shit. Amazon Connected Home. I really don't know what that means. I guess you can order shit from your eero, but I don't want to do that. Eero Labs. So here's where one thing's kind of annoying. Like, I don't understand. So Google has this priority device. So let's say I'm watching something on Roku and my kid is blown up, Fortnite on Pixel 3a, whatever, and I don't want him killing my bandwidth for my Netflix show. I can make the Roku the priority for 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, whatever. And that should do some kind of quality of service and prioritize the traffic. I don't think there is a similar thing on eero. That's how I found the subreddit. They say you should use this optimized for conferencing and gaming. But when I click on eero Labs, I don't even have that option. I just have these 3 options. So I turned on band steering and I turned on WPA3. This one, when you turn it on, it says you need to restart all your devices. So I just didn't do it last night. And, I'll do it at some point. But like if you hit here, it says that optimized for conferencing and gaming is what you want, but I don't have that option, so I don't know if it's a bug or what. So there's the settings. You can make a guest network, which I like, and you can make a password, but I did that before, and the kids always just give the people the main password because they're bad. Here's the appearance. You can change it to a dark theme. It's a little too dark though. Like I don't know that I like it. It's not the quite right. I mean, I like dark themes on most things, but it looks a little odd to me. Just the notifications I like. I get all new devices alerts. I do like that. The weekly security activity, data usage, software updates. I can get all alerts for all these. I like that. And I don't recall any of this shit being on Google, so I like that. Especially the new devices. I mean, that's really helpful. That way I can tell when the kids are trying to sneak some shit on my Wi-Fi. Advanced, you can change your time zone. You can see your IP address. You can turn on IPv6. You can change a handful of things. Like you can make a static IP here. In DNS, you can change it. Like I changed mine to Google before. I might do that. But it says you need to disable all the eero plus features. I don't know. I probably won't do anything for that for now. And then you can change some of these settings. You couldn't change these settings, I think, on Google. Or at least you couldn't at first. They may have added that feature now. But I know a lot of this shit you couldn't change. People complain about that. But I don't really mess with that much. You can see your account number and then the troubleshooting. There's a couple of various things you can do to test. You can run a health check. I don't really know what this do. Let's give it a shot. I do like their animations. They're pretty neat looking. All right, looks like everything's working. Yeah, because everything is working. So I don't know if that would actually do anything if it wasn't working. But all right, so I mean, really, that's about all there is to see. I mean, so far, my Wi-Fi has been good. I didn't have any major problems. Again, I live in an old house, though. It's built in the 60s, so the walls are not conducive to, Wi-Fi traffic, and I have a bunch of shit in this house. There's lots of metal devices, there's lots of electronics, all the stuff that's meant to, like, kind of kill Wi-Fi in general. So it's hard to tell if Google Wi-Fi is really shitty or not, but I just feel like it is. Like, the on-hub never performed great, so that's why I bumped it up to the mesh Google Wi-Fi. And really, I just like the app a lot. And then every time I would research, everyone would say eero was great, and then when I bumped my speeds up, I was going to get the Orbi, but then the eero had the brand new 3-pack, and it came with the free Amazon Fire TV, and, I'm usually pretty happy with Amazon products. Obviously, Amazon has a shitload of money, and they're not going anywhere. Google's known to kill their products, like they just shut down that Nest Secure, and I do use the Ring doorbell and the Ring backyard camera, which I like a lot, and I'm probably going to add another Ring device. I've been pretty happy with those products. I love my Kindle. I use a Fire TV stick when I travel on the road because it works great in hotels. So, I'm just, in general, I'm pretty happy with Amazon products and services, and I know that Amazon will keep pumping money into this shit. They're not going to just kill it like Google will. I'm pretty happy with my eero. I'm still new to it, right? I've only had it for a couple of days, so if I have any major changes or major drawbacks, I'll update this, but as for now, I'm pretty happy with it, and I would recommend it if you have those kind of speeds. If you don't have gigabit speeds, even though I'm only gigabit down, you probably don't need the Pro, but then again, you're also future-proofing yourself, so they do have a 6th version that's not Pro one, so it'll probably also work for you, but in general, the eero is a really easy setup. The app seems pretty good. The only thing I would like to add is adding a priority device for a certain amount of time. Like if I'm on a conference call, I would rather make my computer priority so I don't have any issues with my Zoom, and as opposed to the kids doing their nonsense. But outside of that, I really don't have any complaints about the app itself. It seems to be pretty great. So, all right, leave me any comments, questions, anything I didn't get to, and I'll follow up accordingly. Thanks for checking me out. Please subscribe, thumbs up, all that gibberish. I guess it helps in some capacity. And if you want to buy one, I'll have links in the description, and then I'll get all that sweet, sweet Amazon money when you buy using my link. And that's what we all want, right? It's me making more money.